Okay, so let's go over the screencast. My PowerPoint is on social studies, my favorite subject. I love it. The answers never change. Major portion of social studies, you really cover a lot of World War II, and so that's what I like to focus on today. Um, the main part of World War II is, let's just talk about the impact of World War II at home. So World War II started for the United States December 7th, 1941, with the bombing of Pearl Harbor, which you can see here. There's a picture. What happened was the United States felt like we were isolationist, which means we were too far away from any of the major conflicts to have any countries worry about what we were doing. So we thought our greatest weakness was going to be from sabotage. And the Pacific Fleet, which is the Navy in the Pacific Ocean, we decided to dock all our ships, or most of our ships, in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. From there, they could launch and set out to attack anywhere in the world. And so we lined our battleships up close together as we possibly could, just to make sure that we could keep a close eye on them and protect them from sabotage. Now, the Japanese on December 7th was a Sunday morning, right before 9 o'clock, did a sneak attack and destroyed most of the battleships in Battleship Row and killed over 2,000 people. Not all of them were soldiers, mind you. There were women, and I have read reports of a few children being involved too in the attack, dying in the attack. And that led us to declare war on Japan and subsequently Germany. The president at the time, Franklin D. Roosevelt, said it is a day that will live in infamy, and everyone should know the date. So remember, December 7th, 1941. Okay, it's an important date. It will be on the test. For everyone else in the world, World War II started in 1939 when Hitler decided to take over and invade Poland. Now, he had invaded other countries at the time, but the European governments decided to adopt a policy of appeasement, which means basically giving him whatever he wanted. So he took everything he wanted. Poland, Austria-Hungary, Austria, everything he could get his hands on. And that plunged the world into World War II. Okay? So, but I want to focus on the U.S. So, everyone's seen this poster before. It's very famous. It's been used for feminist movements since its outcry during World War II. Where it came about was most men were drafted or volunteered and fought in the war. I think the numbers are staggering. The military tripled its numbers overnight after Pearl Harbor. Within a week, they had over 1 million soldiers, or something like that. So very, very few men stayed and fought. That means the jobs like factory workers, farmers, drivers to drive produce back and forth, those jobs had to be filled because it was a necessity. Mailmen, okay? And the only people left to do the job were mostly women. So women went to work, and the slogan was, yes, or we can do it. They went in as, this is a famous poster, her name is Rosie the Riveter. They were building battleships, California shipyards. The economy in California boomed overnight. At one point, they were turning out a battleship every 8 days, which is incredible. Okay, with a lot of the work being done by women. Okay, now you can't forget the children too. The children went around collecting scrap metal and anything they could find so that that stuff could be melted down and made into bullets, armor, anything metal, ships. They just went around collecting all the trash. They had scrap metal drives. As you see this picture here, several kids pushing this big old wagon. I mean, this is the story, where the little red wagon really took off, where they'd go around collecting bottle caps and tin cans and everything they could for these metal drives, and then they take it and help donate to the war effort. Now, that's good and that's great. A close up of the picture. I love the guy over here who's really pulling hard. That's great and all, but how do we pay for a war? I mean, even today's war, how do we pay for the war? The answer is bonds. We sell bonds, war bonds. And what they were was the government said, hey, buy these bonds, which we'll put towards the war effort, and then we will pay them back at our leisure. Okay, and the best way, remember, this is really before TV, and all they had was radio. So you have the best way to get the message out there were these posters, just like you see in movie posters. Okay, and they use very, very scary imagery because, scaring your kids. You think, who had all the money at the time? Men are off fighting, the women are working, they're the ones having all the money. So you're appealing to that demographic, and the easiest way to do that is to frighten them by threatening the kids. So you have the picture over here with the shadow of the swastika, the Nazis coming to get the kids. So you don't let the shadow of the Nazis touch them. You got to buy war bonds because that's it. That's how we're going to win the war. Deliver us from evil. Great phrase, moved, very moving. They use a lot of religious overtones in how they bought the bonds. Oh, technical difficulties. A great video of this is Captain America. He's the super soldier, but what do? Instead of have him fight, they have him at rallies. These rallies were massive when they came out. They'd go to every city. But it wasn't Captain America. What it was the men who won the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor is the highest honor bestowed on military that this country has. So you did something great in battle, heroic, at the cost of your own life, or you were injured. You were sent home, and you weren't discharged or anything, but you'd start selling bonds, saying, "Look, hey, we need your help here, my buddies. I rescued them here. They become war heroes." This was huge, and so, in fact, there's several movies depicting this. One of the big symbols of World War II is the flag raising on Iwo Jima. The men who survived, there's 6. 3 survived. The next 24 hours sent home. And they went on a 33 city tour in 33 days. And they raised over, I think it was $32 billion. That's with a B. It was massive. Okay? Massive. This is a great video. You should. We'll watch that later, or watch that now. Fast forward. That was a great video, don't you think? Yeah, I think so too. There's also several famous people that drew these Bond posters. Some of who I know you've heard. Who's heard of Walt Disney? How about Dr. Seuss? They drew cartoons and political cartoons. To try and sell war bonds. I mean, here's a very famous one from Disney. Buy victory bonds with the famous Daffy Duck. There's also some with Mickey Mouse, Goofy. they're all originally there buying war bonds, saying you need to go out and do your effort. You know, a lot of them are racist at this point because you have to understand the time frame. The Japanese wounded American pride, and we as Americans, we don't like that. So we attack them where it hurts, whether it be with racism, violent words, what have you. So this is, political cartoons of what's going on. What have you done today to help save your country from them? I mean, these are everywhere. Okay, so that's really how you afford a war. And there's several other stories we'll get into, but I want to give you your assignment for today. And what you don't finish will be homework. I want you to create your very own war bond poster. It could be, you could pick a war. You could be the war in Iraq that we're fighting now, war on terror, war against ISIS, or you could make it up for World War II. Doesn't matter. I want you to create it. And the things I'm looking for, I want you to want color. I want a message, a clear message. And I want to make it look nice. And when we're done, we're going to put it all up on the wall and decorate it. Okay? Any questions? No? Good. Here we go.